Join our colleagues for the news wherever you are this afternoon. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jane. Hello and welcome to BBC Points West. Good afternoon. First this lunchtime, women from the West are backing a campaign for better support through menopause. MPs and peers have put together a manifesto for menopause, which calls for NHS health checks when women turn 40, more funding and extra help from GPs. Here's our Home and Social Affairs correspondent, Fiona Lambden.
Congratulations, how are you feeling?
At 43, Sheetal was a vlogger in Bristol who held down 3 jobs.
I would just host live breakfast shows and then go straight to my day job. It was constant, but it never felt like a drag. I just really enjoyed the fast pace.
But after a thyroid operation at the end of last year, she began to struggle with what she now believes are menopause symptoms.
No sleep, my joints would hurt, crying uncontrollably. I would just cry all day, all night. I would cry in my job, my 12-hour shift, a constant bereavement. It's like being in a tunnel of darkness and not being able to escape.
Her mum finally got her to the GP.
When you went to the doctor, did they ever mention menopause? Was that ever brought up?
It wasn't, no. They gave me antidepressants and then they gave me, but first of all they gave me something for my sleep, which I didn't take. Hi, come on in, you okay?
I'm all right, thanks.
Good,
How are you
good.
today?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Great.
But after meeting Marva, a menopause coach recently, Sheetal says everything has begun to make sense.
And how's the anxiety going?
It's better.
4 years ago, Marva struggled too. She now helps hundreds of women.
It's so exciting.
And now they're both desperate that the all-party menopause manifesto led by MP Carolyn Harris actually changes legislation.
So tell me your story then.
Mine was, I thought it felt like a breakdown.
By the time you reach 40, you haven't had that conversation. Then a doctor needs to have that conversation to be able to say to you, these are the symptoms. Are you experiencing any of them?
I'm really nodding because it feels like it's coming along.
They believe had they seen their GPs at 40 for a menopause health check, it would have saved them months of pain and confusion.
I'm excited at the idea that doctors will challenge and ask you questions early on, women in their 40s. You know, our lives are so precious, and when you're in that state, you're not thinking straight. Don't deal with it on your own, because you're not on your own.
Enjoy your week. If you need me, you know where I am.
Thank you so much.
Fiona Lambden, BBC Points West.
Police are still searching for an attacker who stabbed a man in Swindon. It happened at 2:20 yesterday afternoon outside the Pets at Home store on the Bridgemead Retail Park. A man in his 20s was seriously injured. Police are still appealing for witnesses. 2 officers from Wiltshire Police have been given gross misconduct notices over how they looked into reports about serial rapist David Carrick. The former Metropolitan Police officer was jailed in February. The Independent Office for Police Conduct says the Wiltshire force failed to properly investigate a report about him in 2016. Another Labour councillor in Gloucestershire has resigned from the party over the leader's approach to the Gaza conflict. Usman Bamia has been on Gloucester City Council since 2004. He'll now sit as an independent. He's angry at comments made by Sir Keir Starmer about Israeli tactics, echoing criticism made last week by a Stroud district councillor. The quality of medical services at the RUH in Bath has been downgraded by the Care Quality Commission. Inspectors carried out an unannounced assessment after they'd been passed some information of concern. The standard of medical care and the Trust's management of the hospital are now rated as needing improvement. The Trust's overall performance as a provider is still rated as good. Now, a busy shopping centre in Bristol and multi-storey car park is into its 3rd day of closure because of a power outage. The Galleries is also home to the Eye Hospital's assessment clinic, which has had to cancel hundreds of appointments. Now, our reporter Martin Jones has been finding out more. Martin, what's been happening there at the Galleries?
Well, it is a huge shopping centre. The Galleries dominates Broadmead, doesn't it? Over 70 stores in there and 1,000 spaces in its car park. But since Sunday, none of them have been open. Now, we understand that a power fault caused by the failure of a transformer has cut all the electricity to the shopping centre. Engineers are currently working to restore power. Shop owners that I've spoken to this morning say the centre has kept in contact with them, and some have been allowed in to collect stock if they want to sell it online. As you say, though, the centre is also home to the Bristol Eye Hospital's assessment centre. They've had to cancel over 300 appointments in the last few days, but they say these have been routine assessments and the main eye hospital for urgent care still remains open.
And Martin, do we know when it will open again?
In a word, no, but the centre says it's hoping but can't guarantee to be open again tomorrow. If they can't restore power, we understand they're trying to bring in generators to at least try and get themselves back open again. And they say they'll issue any updates, including their reopening times, on their social media channels.
Thanks very much, Martin. Let's hope it gets resolved soon. A Formula One driving simulator has arrived at Cabot Circus in Bristol today to help raise money for children in need. It's touring the UK and features the current Silverstone racing track. Gamers can compete to record their best lap times. And there's a children in need treat in store for the top scorers. Jules Hyam's been for a look.
Well, there it is, Silverstone, the actual racetrack as it was for the Grand Prix in July of this year. And behind the wheel today, this morning, here at Cabot Circus in Bristol, Radio Bristol's Joe Sims. Joe, how's it going?
I have never felt more alive. It honestly feels so real, and I know we're doing it for charity, but I want to beat everybody that's ever worked for the BBC ever.
How many laps have you done?
I don't know, I feel like I've done 1 million. I don't know how Lewis Hamilton manages it because my nerves are jangling, my palms are all sweaty, but I'm absolutely loving life.
He's absolutely loving it. Best not to talk to somebody while they are driving, though. So let's have a chat to Meg, who's been taking the whole thing on tour. Meg, how's it going today in Bristol?
Thanks so much, Jules. It's been going brilliant. We've had lots of young people, lots of people of different ages come and give it a go, see if they can be the next Verstappen or Hamilton. So what you do is you get 3 laps around the Silverstone racetrack to set your fastest lap time. Then we're taking those top fastest 50 drivers of the whole tour and pulling out 2 names, and they'll come and race on our live show Game On for BBC Children in Need on the 10th of November, which will be a huge celebration of gaming with lots of celebrities, content creators, gamers, influencers, streamers and members of the public as part of our big Game to Give campaign.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Meg. Now, Joe mentioned there is a BBC Presenters Leaderboard. Don't ask me how, but I've managed to get in with a chance of that competition. So, see if I can take on Joe and just see, oh my word, if I can actually get in the thing, that would be a good start. Okay, ready? Joe, you ready?
I'm ready.
And go!
Sorry, Jules, but I think my money's on Joe. In fact, perhaps I'll just donate it to children in need. Anyway, let's take a look at the weather now. Here's David Brain.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon. Wind and rain are the forecast for the rest of today. Some quite blustery easterly winds along with rain along this weather system, which is slowing up a bit as it arrives, which means that rain could be prolonged in places for the rest of this afternoon and in fact into the early evening, with a maximum temperature today of between 14 and 16. Tonight we take that rain band away. It'll take time before it finally goes. Briefly drier conditions before further showers will creep up from the south, and overnight temperatures will be around 11 or 12 degrees. Most of us tomorrow getting some brightness, maybe brief sunny spells, but lots of showers will continue to affect us throughout the day, and 1 or 2 of those could also be quite heavy, with a top temperature of between 14 and 16 degrees. Not quite as windy as today, so perhaps feeling a little bit warmer. Enjoy your afternoon.
Thanks very much, David. Well, it does really feel like autumn's setting in, doesn't it? Well, do join us again later because we'll have an interview with Paul McGann by one of our reporters. He's filmed a new film entirely set in Bristol that's launching at the Watershed, so do look out for that. That's with David at 6:30. But that's it from me. I hope you have a lovely afternoon, whatever you're up to. Goodbye.
A lot has changed.